thunderstorm warnings that have been issued for our Kentucky counties. Let's take a little bit of a closer view as they have just issued some of those severe thunderstorm warnings as well. So the latest severe thunderstorm warning, again, clearly we have that tornado warning, but we also have a severe thunderstorm warning that does include McCreary, Pulaski, Wayne, and Whitley counties, and that's going to go until 6:30. That's going to be at Eastern time, again, including McCreary, Pulaski, Wayne, and Whitley counties. This storm also has some rotation within it as well. Also looking at the potential for wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. As we take a little bit of a closer look again here in East Tennessee, it does look like we're looking at two different couplets right now of potential rotation, one just to the south of Livingston, and then one that is moving to the west of Jamestown. It does look like that specific storm to the southwest of Livingston is actually picking up steam just a little bit as we pause this, and you notice where we have the darker shades of pink. Sometimes when we look at lightning and within storms, it gives us a better idea of which storms are increasing in strength. And so the one that is just to the north of Rickman and to the southwest of Livingston, there is that chance that that storm again could be potentially picking up in steam just a little bit. Not necessarily saying that we have rotation within that storm, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we did see again another quick isolated tornado just to the south of Livingston. If you live in the red polygon, that means now is the time to take shelter, and you do want to get into the lowest level of your house, away from all windows. If you have a capability again of grabbing maybe a helmet, a mattress, blankets, anything that you can do to cover yourself from potential flying debris. Again, this storm does have the history of bringing in some widespread debris, power outages with this specific storm that is again moving off to the northeast around 55 miles per hour. We're going to be watching this again, and we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning just issued this for Campbell and Scott County, and this is going to be for this same specific storm. This may be upgraded to potentially a tornado warning, as we do have this storm that is moving into the area, producing the possibility of a tornado right now. Again, that tornado warned storm is going to go until 5:15 Central Time, 6:15 Eastern Time, includes Fentress, Overton, and Pickett counties. They have now just issued a tornado warning. Talked about this as well with that storm that does include parts of McCreary. Let's try and get this for you, and Wayne counties until 6:15 Eastern Time. And that does include right along the Tennessee and Kentucky border. It's the same line of storms, the same rotation that is continuing to move to the northeast, and it's going to go right along the Tennessee and Kentucky border. The latest severe thunderstorm warning that we have does include parts of Campbell County and Scott counties, and that's going to go until 6:45 this morning. As mentioned prior, if we continue to see these storms hold on to the rotation that they have in place right now, this severe thunderstorm warning, which is ahead of the line of storms, may be upgraded to a tornado warning, but we do have multiple strong to severe storms pushing their way through East Tennessee. This is just going to be the start of it today, folks. Please follow us again on social media. We'll have much more at 6 a.m. We'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah, can we get on Facebook Live?
Ten News is brought to you in high definition exclusively by Toyota and Lexus of Knoxville. WBIR 10 News starts now.
Good morning, East Tennessee. Time is 6 a.m. We have a lot of severe weather warnings here in East Tennessee and Fentress in McCreary County. We're going to toss it to Rebecca Sweet in the Weather Center to take this stuff away for us. Rebecca, how's it looking?
Hey, good morning, Chase. Yeah, we were just doing a live cut-in over on Channel 10. I'm going to let you know that today may be a busy day where we might be doing multiple cut-ins depending on the severity of these storms. Again, obviously tornado warnings. We're going to be taking over programming because there is imminent danger with some of these storms. With these storms, specifically the one that is moving through parts of Fentress County, there is, again, the history of widespread damage and downed trees. The tornado warning that we've had on this specific storm has been issued with this specific storm, again, for basically over an hour as it continued to move its way through parts of Middle Tennessee. Let's take a little bit of a closer view as to what we're seeing. Again, we do have that tornado warning that has been issued for Fentress, Overton, and Pickett counties. That's going to be in effect for another 15 minutes Eastern time, 5:15 Central Time. It does look like, again, this storm is kind of pulsing. At times, it looks like the rotation is becoming more tight, and it becomes, again, a little bit more scary looking. And then other moments, like right now, the rotation does look like it has a little bit more of a broad look to it. But these storms do have a history of producing tight rotation within them. And even if we're not seeing isolated tornadoes with them, widespread damage is going to be possible with these storms, as it looks like wind gusts up to 60 to 70 miles per hour near the surface is definitely not out of the question. The tightest rotation that we have right now is going to be just to the north of the Jamestown area. So right here where I am pointing, let me kind of give you a closer view as to what we're seeing. Right here specifically is where we are seeing, again, the tightest rotation within this storm, where we kind of have that bowing view. Again, that's going to be just to the north of Jamestown, potentially moving into the Oneida and the Winfield area, which is why the National Weather Service has already issued a severe thunderstorm warning for the area that does include Winfield, Oneida, Elk Valley, Habersham, Pine Knot, Williamsburg, Kentucky, as it continues to move off to the northeast around 55 miles per hour. We're likely going to see this tornado warning hold on strong until 5:15, because it also looks like right here to the south of Livingston, this area as well has been doing some pulsating. So it's at times looking to be a little bit on the weaker side. Other times it looks like the rotation is becoming a little bit tighter. And so there is the potential that we could be watching two different areas of concern here. Right now with this latest radar scan, not necessarily making me too worried about it. But with that being said, with this line of severe weather, we are watching winds that are gusting up to 60 to 70 miles per hour, and they are continuing to move off to the northeast around 55 miles per hour. We do not have any reports just yet out of Fentress County specifically of damage. But with that being said, after this storm does move through the area, we're not done just yet. We are going to continue to watch a line that is going to be moving into the area throughout the day today. So let's kind of talk about the big picture again, what we're seeing, as we do have two tornado warnings in effect for our viewing area. Let's go into the one that we have right now into Kentucky. So let's zoom you up into Kentucky, and that does include parts of McCreary County just to the east of Powersburg. So Powersburg, you are out of the main line of potential rotation. This one, again, not necessarily seeing the tightest rotation within this specific storm, but there is the potential for some broad rotation. Again, isolated tornadoes possible. This storm does have a history of producing tornadoes, but now is the time, again, if you do live in McCreary or Wayne counties, to take shelter, get into the lowest level of your house, away from exterior windows. If you have the potential and you're living in the Coopersville area, if you're living in Stearns, Pine Knot, maybe run into your garage really quick, grab a helmet. That's one great way of keeping safe if we do see any flying debris. Again, if you live in a mobile home, if you're traveling right now, if you have someone traveling right now and they're in a vehicle, make sure that they are right now taking shelter as this tornado-warned storm continues to move off to the northeast around 55 miles per hour. Let's get back down into Fentress County, as this one at one point, again, did have much tighter rotation. It does look like the latest radar scan has it kind of broadening out a little bit, but we're still looking at very strong winds with this specific storm. Let's take a look again at the timing of this. Just to the north of Jamestown, that's going to be on Highway 127. We're looking at, again, some very gusty winds, the potential for some rotation. It does look like the best rotation is going to be right along the Tennessee and Kentucky border, but very strong winds moving off to the northeast around 55 miles per hour. Timing for this is going to take you anywhere between, let's say, 15 20 minutes moving into parts of Oneida. Winfield, you have about 25 minutes. Winfield Elementary School, again, 27 minutes. But those are some kind of more big areas, I should say highlighting areas. If you do live next to one of these areas, now is the time to take shelter, as you have roughly 15-20 minutes to take shelter from what is a tornado warned storm. Broadening rotation from this, so again, still seeing some concerns within the specific storm as we loop this over the last hour, but it does look like at this current moment, the rotation is not quite the concern as what it was, let's say, maybe 15-20 minutes ago. Also looking at the velocity scan, so let's kind of take a look at this. So velocity is when we're talking about the winds. And you notice we have the blues and we have the greens. Keep in mind this specific location is rather tough, not only because of the elevation, but just how far away it is from the radar that we have. So looking at the radar beams, they tend to go upward. So right now it looks like a lot of these scans could be seeing what we're seeing perhaps in the middle towards top of the storms. But with that being said, some of these winds do have the potential of getting close to the surface where we could see close to 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts. Let's pause this. So this is going to be looking at again, the potential for rotation, which does look like right now it is to the northeast of Jamestown, where we start to see those greens and blues mix. The rotation, again, is not quite as tight-knit as what it was specifically, but this is where we can get those winds coming out of the storm, and then where we have those blues are the winds coming back into the storm, and that's where we see that broadening rotation, where it's just to the northeast of Jamestown. But if it holds together, wouldn't be surprised if we ended up seeing a tornado warning that does include parts of Scott County as well, and moving into parts of Campbell County. So if this storm does hold together, again, moving off to the northeast, Pine Knot, Winfield, and Oneida, you have some very gusty winds moving into your area. Tornado warning, again, issued until 5:15 Central Time, 6:15 Eastern Time. Also monitoring that tornado warning that we do have issued, including McCreary County, and that is going to go until, I believe, 6:15 Eastern Time as well. Let's take another closer look at that storm that we're specifically seeing again from McCreary and Wayne County, 6:15 Eastern Time. So if both of these tornado warnings end up getting expired here within the next 5 to 8 minutes, we're still going to be monitoring these storms, but it does give us some good indicators that perhaps the rotation is not quite as much of a concern as what it once was. Again, continuing to watch this storm, this tornado warning that has been issued for McCreary and Wayne counties, and that's going to be issued again until 6:15. If you live in Coopersville, if you live in Cooperative, you will want to take shelter now from this storm, as there is the potential for rotation. And if we do not see a rotating storm within this tornado warning, wind gusts up to 60-70 miles per hour possible. Let's quickly talk about the rest of your day today, as this is just kind of the start of what is going to be a busy day. The Storm Prediction Center has given us a severe potential for a slight and a marginal risk for severe weather. In general, what does this mean? Well, it means that all the ingredients are in place for what is happening right now. Severe thunderstorms and tornado warnings. Again, we do have the potential for some rotation within these storms. Gusty winds, heavy rain could lead to some localized flooding as well. A tornado watch has been issued for parts of the plateau that does include Campbell, Scott, Morgan, Cumberland, and Ray counties until noon Eastern Time. That's for all of those areas shaded in red. Now keep in mind, the northern half of the plateau, Fentress and Scott counties, you're seeing the beginning of your line already this morning. It's not going to really happen until after sunrise, or maybe even into about mid-morning for the southern half of the plateau. That includes Cumberland and Ray counties. So you still have 1 to 2 hours potentially before we see similar looking storms move into your area. Behind this line of storms, we're looking at heavy rain, still holding on to gusty winds. And when we have the rain and the gusty winds mixing, this could lead to more down trees and power outages. We do have a high wind warning that has been in effect for the Smokies, and that is going to be in effect until 4 p.m. this afternoon. Wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour going to be possible. Southwest winds gusting up to 25 to 40 miles per hour going to be possible as well. I'm actually going to try and stay on here to see if they end up extending that tornado warning or canceling it. So bear with me, folks. We have about 5 more minutes, but I do want to keep you up to date as we do have a tornado warning in effect for our area. We'll get to your news here in just a moment. Wind advisory in effect for everyone, including all of East Tennessee. Widespread wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour. If you're awake, if you're watching us right now, take down your Christmas decorations. Drop them down. If you have any high-profile Christmas decorations, be prepared. It is going to be a breezy day as we do see these strong to severe storms moving into the area. I want to show you our FUTURECAST model, and I'm going to control this, making sure we do this nice and slow. So this is our high resolution model. This is the same model that Cassie was using last night. You notice that line of storms. This is actually a little bit later than what's happening right now, but it has a similar look and a similar feel. So we'll likely see those strong to severe storms push their way across parts of the plateau. The main line moving through right now through parts of Fentress, Scott, and Campbell counties. Likely going to see similar looking storms with the same strength, same severity, continue to move through Cumberland, Ray counties, likely through about mid-morning. But this model is kind of lagging a little bit. So I do think that we can take that time frame, 10:30, maybe even bump it to around 8:30 or 9:30, so knock off an hour from that time, and I wouldn't be surprised if these storms continue to move into the area around that time frame. I'm going to switch models. This one has just been so jumpy, folks, and I'm so sorry. Let me try and get a different one for you. So let's kind of show you the graph. So that shows Sunday. Let's get into Saturday. Okay, so this is a different model. Sorry, HRRR, you've just been kind of jumping for us. So again, here's a look at the graph. Different model, same story, kind of gives you a different view, two different perspectives, but I do expect by about mid-morning and leading into the afternoon, we'll start to see this line of strong to severe storms continue to move off to the east, still emphasizing the fact that we're going to be seeing some strong storms move into the southern valley as well as parts of the central valley as well. Knox County, Blount County, Monroe counties, you still have the strength with this storm to see strong wind gusts, heavy rain, and isolated tornadoes as it continues to move off to the northeast. Then by early afternoon, likely going to move into the Smokies, not necessarily saying that the foothills and the Smokies will have the same opportunity for severity as what we have for areas through the Central Valley and west, but heavy rain and gusty winds will still be likely. Behind this front, again, we definitely cool down as we continue to see a much cooler day on Sunday. Let me just take another look at what we're seeing again on the Skywatch 10 radar. Again, it does look like we're starting to see some of these storms, I wouldn't necessarily say weaken, but they don't have quite the severity as what they had initially when they did issue these tornado warnings. Right now, it does look like we are seeing perhaps maybe a little bit of some strengthening to the northeast of Jamestown. Curious if they will keep this tornado warning in effect, but just to the north of Jamestown, it has just now passed. I believe that is Highway 111. It's moving right near the Pickett Parkway Highway and near the Leatherwood Ford Road. Again, hopefully these are all still areas. Just to the north of Allard is where we also, again, have some heavy rain, gusty winds with this tornado warning storm. Not saying that we're necessarily seeing rotation within a specific area. It does look like the rotation in general has been starting to broaden just a little bit, but we are looking at some very gusty winds where we have those shades of blues. We're looking at wind gusts near 60 to 70 miles per hour, and also near Pickett Parkway, again, could be potentially seeing maybe some broadening rotation, and that's going to move just to the northeast of Jamestown. Thankfully, Jamestown, I would say the worst of this storm has been just to the north of your area, but it is going to continue to move towards Oneida, Winfield, and the Pine Knot area. Again, we have this potential for broad rotation, this tornado warning storm for potentially another 2 to 3 minutes. I'm staying on the air right now because I do want to see if they reissue this tornado warning or if they continue to expand it. So again, we have this tornado warning that has been issued for Fentress, Overton, and Pickett counties for another 15 minutes. Also have the same tornado warning storm, which doesn't, again, quite look as scary, moving into Whitley County just to the south of Coopersville, and that's also going to be in effect here for potentially 1 more minute. Again, not seeing any issues when it comes to seeing any storm damage from this. We do have that severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for Campbell and Scott County as well. And we don't have an update just yet if they are going to be carrying this tornado warning into Scott County. As of right now, it does include Fentress, Overton, and Pickett County. Still watching this storm as it does have the potential for pulsing and bringing in more rotation within it. But it looks like the bulk of this rotation for that tornado warning storm has started to broaden. Again, I'm staying on air because I do want to see if they end up reissuing it for Scott County. Wouldn't be surprised in lieu of what has been, again, already previously seen with this storm. Tornado warning in effect for Fentress, Overton, and Pickett counties. Also looking at that tornado warning in effect for McCreary and Wayne counties. Beyond this point, folks, again, as I mentioned, it is going to be a busy day today as we continue to see a severe thunderstorm warning, and they did. They took out those tornado warnings. Thankfully, again, the rotation has not been quite as tight-knit with this specific storm. We will have more updates as need be. Again, Chase, I don't know if you're ready for me to send it back to you, but we're going to have more updates. I'm going to be posting some things on social media, checking some of our reports if we do have any damage within these storms. If you are watching and you live in parts of Fentress County, just because they did not extend that tornado warning does not mean that you can just kind of, these storms are still very powerful, folks. We'll have more updates throughout the morning, and we will send it over to you, Chase.
Thank you, Becca. Yeah, and